Hello traders, Nick Shaheen looking at NIO by request. Crazy stock, good trader, and let's see here. I have no significant position in it. I have a long-term put just for giggles. Came up in one of the debates I had before. I held calls a couple weeks ago into actually the poke closer, like in the mid 60s, but I didn't time it right. So needless to say, I don't have money on the line for these comments. This is purely answering somebody's question. All right, so we're looking at a daily chart, which is what most people look at. I clearly see that there's a line at 57.8 that is pivotal, meaning it was a prior failure, plus or minus a few bucks, and I'll point at them in a little bit. And it has been the base for the spot and the one time tested. So you can see the bottom of this wick and this one are the same. So clearly that's a place that the machines will look at. If it fails, it might carry lower to the next level that they deem important, which my guess would be somewhere around 51. I like 48.7. It sticks out to my eye. And if you get a gift down to anywhere in this zone, it's a buyable dip with a swing trade opportunity, so almost trade slash midterm investment type of a deal, if you believe the whatever has been going on to continue going on. So the regression line tells you that it's an ascending channel. They're going to trade the edges of it. Sometimes they overshoot a little bit this way or that way. So these are the comments on that. This was a significant level failure. So was this. If I split those in the middle, look, I get these two. So this candle sticks out to my eye. It was pivotal here on the breakout. So it makes sense if they wanted to test 48. It wouldn't change anything. In fact, they can go down to 39, 38 and it wouldn't change anything. The bulls will still be completely in charge. So it all depends on what time frame you're trading. Let me see. I did make comments a little bit ago. All right, so clearly there's resistance where you failed last, and that's right here at 60, call it 0.5. And resistance zones above because it's the all-time high. So, and then you have a base, which I just noted. If it's lost, buy the dip base. If base one fails, that's the first attempt at buying the dip somewhere in here for a swing trade like these. But sometimes these don't hold and they finish the job, in which case it's a good starter position for a lot of people, the whole zone. So that would be the trade. They have not, the bears have not been able to consistently inflict damage on the sector, especially names like this one in Tesla. And the Biden inauguration helps a lot, but it's just market sentiment. Everybody believes ESG is the way to go, and EV is definitely the way to go. That's the belief, and it has decades worth of runway. In other words, we make like 3 million vehicles that are EVs these days versus I think 80 million, 85 million. I've read 80, I've read 90, so let's split it a year. So there's a lot to flip from this to that. I've said it before, my contention is that it's not the smaller companies that are going to fill that void, it's the big companies making the switch. So maybe 10% of all of the EV companies are going to survive. I know you're cussing me out, but that's what happens. Do research. Look at how many regular ICE machines have failed. Hundreds. So maybe 10% will survive. The rest will either fail or go into niche markets. I'm not calling this one niche. They have a big, substantial profit and loss statement. Tesla, of course, has a big, substantial, not only profit and loss statement, but they generate enough cash to do their own thing without needing to borrow money to do it, even though it's cheap to borrow now. So that's the kind of thinking goes along with NIO. In theory, I can't short it with conviction because it has everything going for it. So if I'm shorting it, I'm probably shorting the whole market. That will bring NIO down if the market crash. That would definitely bring the NIO down and everything else with it. I'm shorting EVs in general. If something comes out and say, no, we can't have these batteries anymore, of course. So it takes a lot to break this multifaceted bullish sentiment. I'm not the one tooting it, but I'm telling you what's going on. And they say don't fight the trend. There's the trend. The bulls are in charge until I see evidence otherwise. There is no evidence. So it comes down to time frame. So at this time frame, daily, there's no evidence that the bulls are in charge, or the bears are in charge. If I come down, let's see if I can find a timeline within which the bears are somewhat momentous, like having momentum. That is the wrong use of that word. It's the exact opposite of what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I can't, maybe at the 15-minute increment, they're selling the pops. Of course, maybe if that's the case, then at the 5 minutes, nope, at the 5 minutes, they're fighting for it. So the bears have a lot to prove, and onus is in their court. It's on them to show us that they can break it. So technically speaking, now you can see why this level is kind of important. Those wicks, the base ones, as I called it. So let's say, I did say this is resistance. Let's say it plays out as resistance, and they come back to test this guy again. And if it fails, it's some sort of a wonky inverse cup and handle. It could have this much downside in it, which really brings it back to this base, which is probably the jag I did with the green thing here. So this is the kind of thinking where you go one line at a time. I don't try to predict the price action. Like somebody say, well, good job. You said it can go up, it can go down. Yes, but I told you where the trigger would happen, so I know where to chase it. Like I don't start shorting it down here. I short it when this fails, if I wanted to short it. I don't get long it here. I get long it when they overcome the failure, the ledge. That was a ledge, an accident scene. I don't get long into it. So I told you it's going to go up or it's going to go down, but I also told you what lines to watch to trade it. If I wanted to get long it, I would not get long it going into that. I could get long it here with a tight stop to try to swing trade it. So because I know losing this has consequences, then I get long and I'm out immediately if I'm wrong. There's a little gap here it might want to fill. But, this little wick may have, like, in advance filled the gap. I don't think we can say that, but to me, that works. I've seen this happen often. Anyway, no need to fight the trend based on what I believe, even though I don't think their P&L is as pretty. But who am I to judge? Just trade the trend instead of trying to fight it. Just go along with it. You can get short at certain places, and it's not a thesis of short. The only people that can short this company, truly short it, not via puts, I'm talking like sell it and walk away from it, are people with huge money bags that know that the end result is debacle, because then they only need to be right once. It could go to the moon if they can withstand it financially. They only need it to go bust, and then they win. So those are the real shorts. Very few of those out there. When I say I'm shorting a company, I'm buying put spreads, or maybe selling calls, actually I don't sell calls naked, call spreads, because shorting carries, if you sell naked calls, or if you short the company outright by selling the company that you don't own, carries unlimited risk to the upside. You're losing money for as long as the position's open and as long as the price is rallying. That is a situation I don't want in my book at any point in time. It's unfair to my family to put them in something like this. But somebody with billions, they can do that. If they know that something is wrong with this company or any company, they can short it outright like that. But not for the average bear. That's why they make options. It's easy. You spend a couple $100 and you relieve the itch of shorting something that you hate. And so why go and do it the hard way? Anyway. All right, so Nick signing out on this. By the way, if you don't subscribe to the video channel, just subscribe to it and click the alarm button so you know when I release new videos. I don't always make them public, but when I do, it's nice to get the alert. Also, there's a link to the chat room. We do this all day, every day. Many rooms, over 240 people in there of all styles. We have equities, options, futures, perma bulls, perma bears, and the crazies. No crazy. No jerks, please. And it's free to try for 10 days, but it's not free to be in there. The transaction is a PayPal transaction, and it's for $0. The only reason I have that way is because I want to weed out the trolls and protect my the people that are in the chat room, because if you're not willing to tell me who you are, I don't want you in there mucking it up for everybody else. So it's a fair transaction there. There's no safety on the PayPal is very secure. and I don't get any of that information. It's all done on PayPal. All I want is to make sure that's a legitimate person coming in. It's a fun place to be. Try it out. Later, bye.